Okay.
All right, guys.
We literally have had like a hour-long discussion in the live chat, and we were like, "Oh wait, we should start the podcast."
I know. Remember that we're here to do a podcast.
We're here
together?
to do a job. We're here to get paid.
I mean, we will be getting those couple of cents we get from the ads when they play an Apple Podcast and Spotify. But
That's
you know
right.
what? I'll take every one.
That everyone's just gonna skip.
I mean, one day my goal with all of our 2K match shit is it does more than just pay for our utilities, which it does.
Yeah.
But I'd love it to pay my rent.
Yes.
You know, that would be a lovely day.
It'd be beautiful.
Oh my God. But speaking of lovely day, it was a little warm when I got back here, but it was I came from Balboa again, and it was so nice down there, and a cool 72.
Okay.
Yes.
It was not 72 up here today, but Lord knows I did not go outside. I am a redhead, and it is summer.
Oh, when you didn't have to work?
No, I didn't have to work today. We'll talk about that after we get past the and we talk about our weeks.
Is everything okay?
Everything's okay.
Okay, you're saying it in a way that made me nervous. Okay.
No, there's nothing to be worried about. It's just,
Okay.
it's a little boring. Spoiler alert.
Matt Steele, at least it's not Big Brother. I would take any boring over Big Brother boring, truly.
Wow. Hey everybody, welcome back to another 2Gay Matt's podcast. It's Matt Steele.
And it's Matt Palmer.
And we are here another week. We are in the throes of August. Matt Palmer, how was your week?
My week was good. I came back from Balboa this time last week. And
Again.
I came back again this week.
You're a Balboa baby.
At the past 2 weekends, I've been there with Jackson and his family. They have a yearly tradition of going down. He was there for, the whole time, basically the 10 days or whatever it has been. Mm-hmm. And I just went on the weekends because, it's easier for me to work from here. You never know about the internet connections at these Airbnbs. And, I love a big monitor. I like having a lot of space to do my work. So I had the home all to myself, and it was nice. It was we were mentioning before how I'd never lived alone. And so having little moments of being alone in this apartment are really nice. Because I guess I was alone sometimes when you would go back to Jersey, but then I remember being alone on Christmas during 2020. And that was the one time it was sad when I was alone.
I am so sorry I did that to you.
It wasn't your fault.
Yeah, girl, I did what I had to do.
You did what you had to do. It was a choice. I was very much that could never be me, and that bitch better get tested 8 times before I see him when he gets back.
I wore the 3 masks and the face shield on that airplane.
We needed you to.
Yeah, and I did nothing when I was in Jersey except just stay home. It was kind of nice.
Hey, you were the bubble boy. And that's also thinking back to that time. It's sure, it's annoying that, we're still wearing masks, whatever. We still have to think about things, think about monkeypox. But man, it was shit before.
Oh, I know.
This is so much better.
Night and day.
We need to
compared
counter
to what it was 2 years ago.
And between that and Joe Biden getting things passed, the FBI raiding Trump, Alex Jones having to pay tens of millions of dollars to Sandy Hook victims, it's just are good things happening?
Good things are happening in the world since we are living in a post-Renaissance world. So only good things from here on out.
I hope that's true. We need it to be true. And it just is nice to get some good news after so long of bad. So I'm trying to think of anything else I really did this week. I was home alone. I went down to Balboa. We had a lovely time.
Did you have the ice cream bar, chocolate banana? I forget, because I know in Balboa Island there's the frozen banana stands that are next to each other. And it's if half of the island is this stand and half of the island is this stand, and it's a war between each other.
Yes, so they do have a stand. I believe they go to Dad's, and not the other one, which claims to be the original banana thing.
Yeah, they both claim to be the original,
right? And so I didn't get the banana thing. The last weekend I got ice cream, but you know how I feel about ice cream. It's fine. So
have we talked about this?
We've definitely talked.
How I think that ice cream is one of the most overrated things on the planet.
Oh, I forgot that we agreed. I don't think it's
still great, but y'all go way too nuts.
I think it's good. I do.
But you are
I'm a cake girl.
That's
give me cake.
A little weird. It's fine.
How is that weird?
It's just a little weird to choose cake over ice cream.
Why?
When everyone knows that the superior dessert is Jell-O.
Okay, we can't get into this.
I'm also a candy person over a dessert person
clearly,
any day.
Which means you're a child whose taste buds haven't developed, which we've talked about previously.
Yeah, guys, I'm just a kid.
Okay, an old child. But then on the second weekend, I actually went a little far afield and I got a apple cinnamon oatmeal cookie.
Cute.
It was great. It was huge. It was the size of my head. It was great.
Wow. Oh, so the highlight of your week was a cookie.
I don't know if we're going to say it was the highlight of my week, but it was up there. I'm not going to deny that.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to try this cookie. If I was more of a dessert person, then I would be more excited about your cookie.
Who doesn't like dessert?
Desserts are fine. I don't know.
All right.
Desserts are always fun. I'd rather have a Sour Patch Kid, or a bar of dark chocolate.
Okay. Well, the dark chocolate feels like dessert.
But it's more like candy, But anyway, my week. Are we done with your week?
I guess so.
I don't want to
yes.
interrupt.
You were talking all during it, but no, please take the floor.
Thank you so much. Well, now that the microphone's mine,
yes.
I can tell you all how I basically just worked 8 out of the last 9 days in a row.
Absolutely not.
Because I was just like covering for a bunch of people's shifts. Like my one coworker, Teo, he got like a bug bite or something, and like something happened to it, and so his leg was hurting. So I covered a bunch of his shifts, and then there were just more shifts I had to cover. So I was just working all week essentially. So I've been making that money, baby.
I was gonna say, you said this was the summer of no money, so I'm glad that's turning around for you.
I did what I had to do.
That's great.
Yeah.
And so wait, I hope you have a couple of days off and not just today. You don't know yet?
Oh, like ahead?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have days off ahead.
Good.
I mean, I work tomorrow and then Tuesday, but like then I have more days off after that. It's not going to be a long stretch unless, Teo has to get his leg amputated or something.
From the bug bite?
He won't.
I mean, maybe he got Lyme. You never know. That's what Yolanda Hadid got.
Oh, no.
I know.
No, I don't think it's that kind of bug bite. I think it's just kind of like a bug bite. It itched, so I scratched it and,
It doesn't seem
and
like
suddenly Matt Steele's rich.
I was gonna say, it doesn't seem like that's honestly reason enough to skip work. No offense to Teo, but like,
well, when you're on your legs all day, like, and your leg is hurting, like, you don't want to do it.
Does your leg hurt from
Listen, I don't care if Teo just totally was faking it and just didn't feel like working. Matt Steele made his money.
Ooh.
Matt Steele made his keep.
I'm sorry, I forgot. I have something I'm more excited about.
More excited than the cookie?
More excited than the cookie.
Okay.
Our soda stream broke. Over the past
I heard about that. I'm so sorry.
And that is the bane of my existence. I love my soda stream so much. It's the best investment I've ever had. I make sparkling water every minute of every day. And so life without it has been tough. But I was like, I bought this less than a year ago. It is within warranty. I will be calling up the SodaStream folks.
A call, not even an email?
The thing is, I emailed them and they're like, we're going to call you back. And I thought they were going to have to video conference me to prove that it was broken, but we couldn't get the FaceTime to work. And so he's like, okay, just put the speakerphone up to the SodaStream as you try to push it. And so I did it and it was like, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's broken. We'll replace that. Okay,
well, I've told you this many times back when we lived together and you would just do the soda stream every waking second of every single day. You do it aggressively.
Wait, no. This is a different soda stream because Jackson broke that one you're talking about. The new soda stream is electronic. You just press the button and
it does it.
It does it for
does
you.
It do it does it give you as many bubbles as the previous one?
You have 3 options. There's a 1 bubble, 2 bubble, 3 bubble. I picked the 3 and the 3 is good.
Oh, good for you.
Yes. And so when you heard that like the little sputtering, it was like, he was like, okay, that's not enough. Let me see like the date in which this was made. Send me a copy, like a screenshot saying that you bought this within a year. It'll be fine. And this was like a very cool British man on the customer service line. And then as he's hanging up, I almost hear a pause in his voice. And he's like, all right, is there anything else I can help with? I was like, oh, no, that's going to be it. Thank you so much. He's like, all right, thank you too. You have a bubbly day. And I'm like, oh, no. They make you say have a bubbly day to customers all day. That's harsh,
And did
guys.
he say it as enthusiastically as you just stated it? Or did he at least try to give it some oomph?
No, I could hear that it was pained. Like it was coming out of him through gritted teeth. And I was like, I feel bad. Have a bubbly day. Yeah. As a person who has dealt with clients in his job for a long time, until recently at my job, I was doing that. Not really random clients, but whatever. The idea of having to sign off in like a cutesy way makes me want to die.
That's
like
rough.
That would be horrible because it's like, of course I don't want to be interacting with you in the first place, but kill me if I have to say bubbly day every 5 seconds.
It's so crazy because working at a restaurant, I was always so good at like smiling and sounding cheerful and looking cheerful during work. But then during the pandemic, when I would have a mask on the entire shift, I just would never smile. And like, it was just fine because like, who cares?
Right.
But
matter.
now that like our masks are off at work, like I'm just like, I find myself just not smiling and just looking like a raging bitch the entire time. And I was like, why doesn't anyone want to sit in my section? So I'm like retraining myself how to smile.
Wow, relearning how to smile.
I know, it's hard.
It's really hard
I have to train these muscles. Another thing I did this week, real quick. I just want to say it because I'm sure it'll arouse all of our listeners.
Okay.
I changed the headlight bulb of my headlight on my car by my damn self.
I saw this on Instagram and was very impressed.
Yes, I am impressive.
I was impressed. I'm giving you this. That was amazing.
Yes. Are you not turned on?
No, I'm not. But did you look up how to do it? Like, how did you figure out how to do this.
Did I look? Of course I looked up how to. I knew intuitively.
This is what I'm asking. Did you go on YouTube and you're like, oh, look for your car? And like, these are the steps that one needs to take.
Well, a couple of years ago, I was driving me and my friends home from Six Flags, and my one friend noticed that my right one was burned out. And so my friend was like, oh, just pull into a Walmart. We'll get a bulb. I'll change it. And I watched him do it. So in the parking lot of the Walmart. And so
Connor?
No. This was many years ago. And so normally I get Connor to do all my car shit.
I was going to say.
Connor's the friend who, I'm like, Connor, something's weird with my car. Help me. And he's like, yeah, whatever. So this friend, I saw him do it and it looked very easy. So I was like, I know I can do this on my own when the next one burns out. And the next one burned out years later. And what did I do on my own? Change the headlight bulb. That's
where your good memory comes in handy. Because you know, if that had happened to me, I'd be like, I don't know what he did. What's the bulb? No, it never would have happened. So congratulations, I do.
It's shockingly easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at you. Your mechanic era.
I know my hands got so dirty, and I don't like having dirty hands.
That's the worst part.
I know.
And that's the thing about the beach. And I'm not like Matt Steele. I don't hate the beach. But I will say there were moments with there were nieces and nephews there and people wanting to make big sand balls or make a sand castle or put people in sand mermaids or whatever. And I'm like, the sand gets in your nails.
Blech. The sand gets every fucking
sand gets everywhere,
which is why the beach fucking sucks.
I don't hate the beach, but I will say the amount of sand on my hand after a beach day is upsetting.
I hate everything. And that is why when Lorde released the song Solar Power, I was so offended.
Mad. You were very
I was like,
mad.
how dare you do this to me, Lorde?
I know.
How dare you sing about something that I find so repulsive as the beach?
Especially after Greenlight. You're such a damn liar. All right. Should we jump into news radio? We've been talking about nonsense for 12 minutes.
Let's go.
Oh, guys. 1 week, I hope there's a week where we don't have upsetting or heartbreaking or just annoying news regarding Britney Spears. But, good news. Elton tweeted a picture of Hold Me Closer with a rose and a rocket, meaning that the Britney collaboration of their new version of Tiny Dancer, is being released. We don't have an actual release date, but there is a pre-save link for it. So everyone, I love that it's coming. Excited to hear her back.
We're bringing it to number one.
Absolutely we are.
We all have a mission, all of you.
And last week, I don't remember even where we were in this saga of Britney versus K-Fed and Kevin giving that interview about her kids. And Britney responded saying teenagers are tough. I wish we had handled this privately, whatever. Kevin then decides to go to Instagram and posts a video that basically is supposed to be damning. They're two separate videos. And Kevin's like, I just can't allow my children to be talked about in this way. And these are videos that they recorded for me back when they were 11 and 12. And this is not even the worst of it. I hope my kids don't turn out to be the kind of parent that she is. And she literally is why the fuck aren't you wearing shoes in the snow? Was one of the arguments. And yeah, I took your phone away. You deserved your phone getting taken away. And then the other one was I'm allowed to go anywhere in my house. Respect me as a woman. If I'm going to get you lotion for your face because it's crusty, I'm going to do that. It just was
essentially I am your mother, respect me.
Right. And it was I get that maybe she was talking in an elevated tone and she was using curse words. And
you called that an elevated tone?
Look, I'm trying to give some sort of other sideness to this.
She was being calm and cool as a cucumber. I am from Jersey, and that was nothing.
It certainly, I feel was not an example of abuse, which is what it was being pitched to us as. And it's Kevin, is this all just going to be ramping up as the time before they turn 18 winds down because he needs this kind of money? It just made him look so much worse.
Oh my God.
She responded, I believe, on Twitter or not on Instagram. I don't actually remember if she responded or not, but let me look. But her lawyer certainly responded and was this is actually, we're looking into the legality of him posting this publicly. It is not okay that she gets, that you are posting this for the world to see when this is so, she had already requested that this should have been kept private. So he might be getting a lawsuit coming his way.
Great. He deserves it. And I hope he gets no money. I cannot wait for him to get cut off from whatever alimony or child support that she is giving him. It's just so ridiculous. She's just being a mom in the video and yelling at her kids. The worst that she does is curse.
Right. She curses and calls one of them weird. It's is that bad?
No, it's not bad at all. Come on. This is embarrassing for Kevin. That is so embarrassing. You are a loser.
It's just how low can he go with this? What else are we going to be trying? And it's also Did you not have your finger up to public opinion? Like, did you really think these were damning enough for all of us to turn on Britney Spears after all she's been through and all that? Like, you seemingly co-signed since you're like, oh, I would love to have Jamie in my life, blah, 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 even though he like has a restraining order. Like, you pulled a restraining order out on Jamie Spears because he like attacked your sons or locked them in a room or something, but you'd rather he be in their life than their own mother, and this is your damning evidence. I don't know. It just was really gross and upsetting. But hopefully Britney is doing okay. And speaking of upsetting, Michelle Branch, she announced via Twitter, she tweeted on the 11th of August, just found out my husband cheated on me with his manager, Haley McDonald, from Full Stop Management while I was at home with our 6-month-old daughter. This is not okay. No one wants this. The split was then announced. And basically Michelle was talking about how she is heartbroken, XYZ. And then after that, she was arrested Thursday at around 2 a.m. in Nashville for assaulting her husband, Patrick Carney, which as you first hear it, you're like, oh my God, assault is bad. Domestic violence is always bad. Cops were called to their home for a possible domestic disturbance, and she admitted to slapping him 1 or 2 times. And it's like, I am no police officer. I am not one for the law. I personally am not a slapper. But did he not earn a slap or two? Like, I don't want to. I mean, when you hear domestic violence, you're thinking, oh, she did something
horrible. She punched him. She took a hammer.
Like a closed fist, like kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you've cheated, I don't know. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. The $1,000 bail, it seems right.
It's definitely wrong. Like, you shouldn't slap anyone. You shouldn't. It's definitely against the law. It's technically assault.
Technically, yes.
Yes.
But I don't know. I just am like, it's a very sad situation. If I were him, I wouldn't have liked to be slapped, but I would have been like, I get it. I don't know. I get it. Like, you really made your bed a bit. And I just want good things from Michelle Branch. I feel like it's just a very sad situation she's in. I'm sure she and her baby are going to be fine on their own, but just a rough day for her. Taylor Swift is claiming that Shake It Off was not plagiarized. I can't believe this is still in court. It's been 5 years they've been litigating this.
For what songs are this? I feel like there's been so many like Taylor Swift plagiarizing, songwriting lawsuits.
The songwriters of Play As They Gon' Play and Hate As They Gonna Hate, which is a 3LW song that was out in like 2000, 2001.
Oh, this story. Okay, gotcha. That she did not plagiarize someone else.
Yes. Gotcha. And so, 3LW, the members of 3LW, Keely and Adrian, want to make it clear that 3LW is not suing Taylor Swift. They stand with her as the songwriters of the song that are suing her. So all you Swifties, don't be like spamming their comments.
Well, what about the other member of 3LW, the one that left? What are her thoughts?
I don't think Naturi has much to say. I
want to hear what Naturi has to say.
She's probably trying to sue the other members of the group who allegedly threw chicken at her. Like, wow, during that break.
Raw chicken? Group. Because that is assault, because there's some bacteria.
No, I think it was KFC.
Okay, it's cooked.
It's cooked. But I just can't believe this. Like, I feel like Taylor's response is like pretty funny in a couple of ways. She basically was like, my parents didn't let me watch MTV until I was 13. And so that was after.
Hold up, Taylor.
Yes.
That song was playing on the Disney Channel on loop.
Wow. Well, so hopefully the songwriters know.
So if your parents didn't let you watch MTV, maybe that's just her in a roundabout way, like skirting around the topic, because I'm sure she peeked at that Disney Channel every so often.
I mean, she's saying that the phrase is similar to don't hate the play, hate the game, take a chill pill, say it, don't spray it, which I think is funny because no one said that in 30 years. She cites an Urban Outfitters t-shirt with the phrase haters gonna hate, saying this is how common it was.
Like, that is the most common phrase of that time.
Right. I mean, not to be team these songwriters, when I first heard Shake It Off, I was like, these are the lines of don't play, because it's like it's the collection of haters gonna hate and the players gonna play, because those are literally the couplet. But whatever, they should not get a dime. This is ridiculous. But I love everyone, and you guys know how much we love All Too Well. But speaking of ridiculous, Taylor Swift's putting an Oscar campaign together for All Too Well, the short film, to get qualified. Reportedly, it's wants to get it qualified to be eligible for an Academy Award nomination in the Best Live Action Short category at next year's Oscars ceremony. Swift has wasted no time and is said to already be working with top consulting firm to guide the project's award campaign. Guys, I love All Too Well. Love the 10-minute version. The video is kind of ridiculous. Like it's well shot. It's fun. It means well. It's not an Oscar contender. Matt Steele, you're certainly quiet.
Girl, do what you gotta do to get that award. FYC.
What do you feel about the quality of the film versus other short film winners?
I don't know. I watched it once. I don't remember much except that she had red hair and that hair was glowing.
I remember when they were ad-libbing that fight in the middle and she was young Taylor was like, "You dropped my hand!"
I remember the ad-lib fight and me being like, "Oh."
It also is so funny because it's like, as much as the songs are like, "Oh, Taylor is so wrong, Taylor's so wronged," the video and this fight specifically was like, maybe Jake has a point. Like, you are doing a lot, but she was young. I don't know. It just is like,
she's just portraying herself as a three-dimensional character, which I think is what makes it Oscar-worthy. Thank you for your consideration. The billboards are coming up.
If Lemonade was not allowed to be nominated for Best Picture.
Well, the thing is, I imagine there has to be some sort of rule where, like, it's screened at some sort of
she screened
film.
it.
She screened it
at Cannes or something.
At Cannes, girl. Screened at Cannes.
She screened it at
and I bet those motherfuckers were like 20 minutes standing ovation.
Oh no, I'm sure they were just like, this bitch. Like, you won't just leave our industry alone. Do you not have enough? I just think, look, and we love Taylor Swift we love All Too Well 10-minute version. But the video being nominated for that Academy Award feels a little outlandish to me.
I have to go through all the competition and make my choice according to, what the best 5 are.
Okay.
Am I going to watch all those short films? No. But also, am I an Academy voter? No. So it really doesn't matter what I think.
Oh, Serena Williams is retiring.
I saw
this
that.
Year's U.S. Open. She announced it in Vogue's September issue. She prepares to say farewell to tennis on her own terms and in her own words. It's the hardest thing I could ever imagine. I don't want it to be over, but at the same time, I'm ready for what's next. I just am like, it's like we've lived through, from what I understand, again, I'm not a sports pro, but the greatest athlete of all time, and like her time is coming to an end. It's just like, I don't know. It makes, for a person who never feels that old, even as the numbers go up, this has made me feel like, oh my God, death is coming.
Yeah, you're
you
old.
know?
Yeah.
It's just like I remember hearing about Venus and Serena and them coming up and being like black tennis superstars and being such a guiding light for so many people.
With the beads.
Oh, they were
iconic.
They were and have been everything for so long. And the fact that she won't be playing tennis anymore.
But it doesn't feel like for so long. It feels like yesterday.
I know.
Which is what's crazy about it. Like, but the thing is, like, good for her. I am sure she is tired.
Oh my God.
I am sure her bones are sore. And she's like, I just want to sit the fuck down.
She's 40 and a 23-time slam winner, and is widely considered the greatest player of all time. She'd been out of the game for with an injury in the first round of Wimbledon 2021, but had turned to play singles and doubles during the grass season. I don't know what the grass season is. But she wants to have another child, a sibling for Olympia, and she does not want to be pregnant again as an athlete.
Yeah, I mean, that's
which makes
fair,
sense.
because I'm sure the first time she was just like, ow.
I know.
Like,
and then having to do it
and then having to like go back and like retrain after. Whew.
Headache.
It's like when you watch the Homecoming and you like watch Beyonce get back in shape. Exhausting.
It's like, I couldn't do that. Like,
I know.
I don't have the stamina. I don't have the work ethic. They are superheroes.
I don't know, though. I did work 8 days in a row.
That is true. 8 days. 8 days.
Well, not in a row. There was one day where I had off, but whatever.
Okay. NBC is bringing the Golden Globes back in 2023.
Baby, we're coming back. I totally forgot about this until you just said it just
happening.
now. I am so fucking thrilled.
There are black people in HuffPo now.
There's probably one. They probably extend the invitation to somebody. Maybe that's why Serena Williams is retiring. They're like, invite Serena.
I mean, I'm hoping that someone tell us in the comments if there are black people in HuffPo, because if there are, then I'll be excited about it coming back. I mean, honestly, I don't care, but it's like they need to have more black people, more people that are not, just more diversity.
Of course, yes. I'm assuming that that's what they did, and that's why they're like, hey, we're coming back with a vengeance and everything. I mean, it's just the Golden Globes are such a great kickoff to awards season. They're always just a happy, comforting thing that you always know what to expect. Just like some messy celebrities, and you're sitting there watching, and you're just like, what is this even? What is HuffPo?
Oh, here we go. They quickly began passing major reforms, among them banning members for accepting gifts and removing a cap on new member additions, which enabled it to add 21 new members. 6 of them are black.
Okay.
But roughly 1/4 of its own members voted against the changes. While a couple of others questioned the organization's sincerity and resigned.
Resigns?
What is up with HuffPo? They're so fucking weird.
That's so crazy.
Imagine really like hanging your hat on this. Like, I must resign.
I am against there being a more diverse membership.
Like how?
Yeah, that's crazy. But the Golden Globes are crazy, guys. The Golden Globes always bring the mess.
I mean, if nothing else, it is a messy award show. Jeanette McCurdy's new memoir is out, and she was the star of Sam and Cat. She was on iCarly. Apparently, it details a lot of her relationship with her mother and her relationship with the creator of that show, Dan Schneider, and like how problematic those relationships were.
The book's called "I'm Glad My Mom Died." I think it's called.
It is, yes, I believe so. And she also talks a bit about Ariana Grande, which of course is getting the most headlines because she's like the biggest name. Apparently, Jeanette booked 2 features during iCarly, and she had to turn them down because the iCarly team wouldn't write her out of episodes so she could go shoot them. But when Sam and Cat was happening and Ariana Grande was starting out as a pop star, they would literally rewrite entire scripts for Ariana and be like, Sam is just in a box this week.
Oh,
and so it's all Carly doing all the work. And apparently Jeanette understandably started to resent being a good sport. And then at some point, Ariana came back and was like, oh my God, I just hung out at Tom Hanks's house and like we had a game night.
Oh God.
And Jeanette's like, I never liked her after that. It's like, I bet you didn't.
Damn.
So,
and the thing is, I heard that Nickelodeon was like, we'll give you $300,000 if you never speak of your on-set experience. And she was just like, no, thank you.
Good for her.
And that book is selling.
Oh, it is selling. I'm kind of curious, and I'm like, don't know much about Jeanette McCurdy, but it seems like she's gone through a lot and has a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah, she seems like badass.
I know. And I also saw she had not ruled out a return to acting, so hopefully we will see more of her.
Okay.
On the silver screen. I mean, sad news. Anne Heche, 53, died from injuries sustained in a car accident. So she crashed her car into a house in the Mar Vista neighborhood of Los Angeles, leaving the home destroyed and the actress in critical condition. And then she never regained consciousness.
It's just so tragic and horrible.
Awful.
And I know she has 2 sons who she left behind, and it's so sad. And so like our hearts go out to her. I mean, she was such we forget the 90s and we forget what a beacon she was for, I guess, bisexuality and just like being a woman who's just like, you know what? I'm interested in dating this woman. I'm attracted to this woman. I'm going to date this woman, and being so out about it. Because, Ellen came out and everyone was like, oh, well, of course, Ellen's a lesbian and everything. But they never expected to see Ellen with another woman, let alone like another actress who's also pursuing this career, who is smart and talented and beautiful. Like they were not expecting that at all. And the fact that Anne Heche, because she was in the movie Volcano around when this was all happening, and they told her like,
I read this,
if you come on the red carpet with like you cannot come on the red carpet to this premiere. And Ellen was like, Anne, don't do it.
Yeah, just do what they say.
I won't go. And Anne was just like, no, fuck that. I'm bringing my girlfriend to the premiere of the movie that I'm starring in, which is Volcano's a great movie. Also, it's great. And so she apparently like was kicked out of she like left the premiere early and was like not allowed to do the red carpet like afterwards. Like she has been through so much, and she's also an incredibly talented actress. I know there's a movie that starring Nicole Kidman called Birth that Anne Heche has a supporting role in, that, and she got some Oscar buzz for it. And Birth is like one of those movies that came out in like 2004, I think, that I actually never saw, like got around to seeing, but I was always interested in the plot. So now like I really want to see it, and I hear how good her performance is in it. After her passing, people on theater Twitter have been saying Anne Heche in Proof was one of the best performances I've ever seen on stage.
Wow.
Like an incredibly talented woman, and incredibly devastating that this happened.
I know. Yeah. It's very sad. She will be missed. I didn't know much about her outside of the dating Ellen, so it's good to hear more information. Yeah. But when I read that story about the red carpet and her being like, no, fuck him, I'm bringing Ellen, I was like,
like, yes, girl.
Because it's like you really do forget what the 90s were like.
Oh my God, I know.
And it was a different
It was amazing. And Olivia Newton-John passing away this week. So sad. Like I knew that she had battled breast cancer. I feel like she had been constantly like in and out of remission. From what I gathered from the story. And so it was just, no one knew that she was not in good health. And so it was so sudden. And it's just crazy how, there are people who are such icons who can just suddenly be gone. I mean, Olivia Newton-John was just like the epitome of just like the sweet, warm, beautifully toned, honey vocaled pop star, and
she was what, 73? She wasn't
73. She was young.
Yeah, she was not that old.
She was young and she was fit, girl.
Right.
Like
we've all seen
physical.
It's there.
And so we will miss them both.
And I just wanted to end us on a little happier news after this sad moment, but if you, again, we'll talk about Beyonce till the end of time. If you have not been on YouTube and watched the preview for the visuals from Renaissance, which is set to I'm That Girl, I think it's called the I'm That Girl official teaser. It looks so fucking good. And those cuts of her face and everyone calling it everything everywhere all at Beyonce is so fucking funny. And it's just, I cannot wait to see all these visuals. And I have a theory. I believe because the date 8/20 has been floating around. Apparently there was something on her website about that.
What is that?
I believe this is premiering on Netflix, who keeps tweeting about her, on August 20th. That's my bet, which is what, Saturday?
But what about the Dolby of it all?
I don't know about that. Maybe it's going to get into a theater as well. And it's like, if it's in a theater, we have to see it in a theater.
Oh my God, yeah.
I just feel like
we'll be on YouTube live, like in the theater quietly, just like, and you'll just like see our faces. Just like, so I'm very much team chaos when it comes to all of this. I want on 8/20 a whole new album of all completely new music.
No.
I want just like throwing more at us. More.
No. Because when do you want the visuals then? And do you want the visuals to be spanning over 3 albums she releases every like few weeks?
Why not?
Because it'd be too much for my little heart to handle. I can't have that.
Our hearts can handle a lot. I just changed a headlight on my the light bulb on my headlight.
Sure, but I don't think that
you were in the sand.
I was.
We can handle a lot.
I don't think that's a lot. That doesn't sound like a lot. But everyone, if you have not watched that official teaser, do it. It will make your day. She's so beautiful. And
she's so beautiful.
She's so beautiful. She's just so beautiful. Lastly, ABC is airing a Cinderella reunion special for the 25th anniversary. This is, of course, the 25th anniversary of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, or as we all know it, Brandy's Cinderella. And it is going to reunite, their cast is going to reunite for a special edition of 2020, Tuesday, August 23rd on ABC. And followed by that, they are going to show the movie in full. I think there are going to be a lot of people there, including Brandy herself. Hopefully, the majority of cast that's still around, obviously Whitney Houston and one of the evil stepsisters are no longer with us. There are also special guests who are not involved in the film, like Todrick Hall, who are going to be there, which is...
Why not?
Why?
Why not?
Or why?
Okay.
It's a question, but I'm excited that we're getting light shown on this film adaptation. It is so excellent. I think we have an old Patreon video about this.
Yeah, we have a Patreon Patreon bonus video that we recorded back when we started doing the Patreon. If you'd like to become a member, you can check out the video where we review the Brandy Cinderella.
And it's
it's just the quintessential two gay Matts crossover.
Oh my gosh.
Because it is musical theater for Matt Steele, it is 90s R&B for Matt Palmer, and it's just the perfect blend of what we both want. If we had a child, if we had an artistic child, it would be Brandy's Cinderella. What I am praying for this special is just not only that Vianne Cox is there, because I love Vianne Cox, but I am begging for the soundtrack to be released, because a soundtrack has never been released. The reasoning why, I'm sure there were a few reasons, but one of the main reasons why was because Brandy's record label did not want the soundtrack to be released, because they were like, oh, we don't want people confusing Brandy as to what kind of artist she is.
But now we all know what kind of artist Brandy is.
She's in Chicago on Broadway. Now she does musical theater, people. Well, she's not just 90s R&B. She is Roxy Hart and Cinderella. So release the goddamn soundtrack, people. I need Whitney Houston singing Impossible in my earbuds as I'm taking my walks.
And if nothing else, we could get it officially streaming on Hulu or something, or Disney Plus, wherever the fuck they want to put it. We need that. So I foresee them doing that, at least the streaming portion of it. I'd love the soundtrack myself, and I don't see any reason why not. So fingers crossed. If someone knows any information, any intel, please let us know, because that I would love to see.
Yes.
Is there any other news for idiots that you'd like to share with the people?
I don't think so.
Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more Two Gay Mets.
Okay, we're back.
We are back.
And guys, we have great news. Our wonderful live feeders here have reminded us, because I completely forgot, that Brandy's Cinderella is streaming on Disney Plus.
Thank goodness.
So that is less that Disney needs to focus on now, and now we can focus solely on the soundtrack. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Let's get that streaming in my ears. Anyway, this is Email My Heart. This is the section of the podcast where we answer any questions that you guys might have. You can be a part of Email My Heart if you email us at twogaymats@gmail.com, two spelled TWO, or if you would like to comment on the YouTube video. If you're watching this podcast on YouTube, you can ask us a question there.
Yes.
So, first of all, we got an email from a Thomas who gave us a whole syllabus of ways to consume Drag Race. So thank you, Thomas.
Thank you so much, Thomas. Once we get to that on Patreon, which I think one day we will look back at that email.
Yes.
And I appreciate the time and thought and effort that went into it.
Yes. So next email comes to us from Durga. Durga says, keep him or dump him? Dearest Mats, quick question today, but only as an excuse to tell you how much I've been enjoying the pod lately. I've worked through your whole catalog of episodes and am obsessed with your charisma and banter. I could listen to you talk about literally anything and still love it. And I've only ever had that with one other celeb/personality. Who was it, Durga? We want to know who we're being compared to.
I'll take celeb.
Okay. Okay, question time. Matt Steele, Palmer, you can still answer. What are your relationship deal breakers when it comes to entertainment? Could you date someone who doesn't like or hasn't even heard of Carol Channing, Stephen Sondheim, Mariah? Okay, I realize not hearing about Mariah is impossible, etc. Hearing about Stephen Sondheim and Carol Channing is also impossible because they're legends and icons. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Are there any other similar deal breakers or necessities? And Palmer, I've been leaning into your home is a luxury hotel ethos recently, and it's been so lovely. Snaps for you both. Here's a follow-up email. Hey, Mats, this is a quick addendum to my previous email, but I saw the following link. Headline, would be curious to know your guys' opinion. Oh, it's about it's an Addison Rae link. We don't know nothing about it.
We don't know anything about that.
We'll get back to that one.
Yes.
But I do have an answer, or I have two, when it comes to, or I have a couple when it comes to entertainment. If he doesn't like watching movies, it's a done. Because this is what we are doing.
Matt Steele is a person who is so open to everyone. I don't know that I've ever heard a solid no.
And you know me that I actively date people who are the complete opposite.
Absolutely, you do.
You have never known me to date someone who is like me in the slightest.
Cigarette smokers to the front of the line.
Listen. I can't help it that I naturally happen to attract smoke. Whenever I date a guy and I like him, I find out he's a smoker and I'm like, of course you are.
He loves to change the girls. He's like, I can fix him.
I don't say I can fix him. I just say okay, one day when we have kids, you'll quit. Thanks.
Okay, that's literally the same thing. But go on.
Whatever. But it's just oh no, this is what we're going to be doing together is watching movies. Also, if a guy is a musical theater fan and he actively is has anything critical to say about Rodgers and Hammerstein, I will divorce him on the spot.
Oh my God. I am not a person that is you must like Mariah or as much as I do, or you must like pop music as much as I do. But I think you need to be open to hearing about it and learning about it. Yes. And I will accept some criticism, but discounting of her artistry or artistry of the people that I very much love and completely being oh, that's not important. This is silly. That I couldn't.
We won't stand for that.
No. Well, you have to respect it, even if you don't fully get it. It's not your thing, and that's fine. But just be open to and know their worth.
Well, and in fact, since I'm actively attracted to guys who are the complete opposite of me, it's very rare that I date someone who has any semblance of knowledge about musical theater. So I love teaching them all that stuff. But, by the time we're years into our marriage and everything, and he learns and is educated by me, and then he has something negative to say about Rodgers and Hammerstein, then I will throw him out the window.
Oh my gosh.
But also in terms of entertainment, as we were talking about the beach earlier.
Yes.
If he loves the beach, I don't know if it's going to be a match. Like if it's someone who's like, I have to, this is the thing that we're going to do together. I'm like, I can only do this a handful of times with you.
I would be more open to the beach than I would someone who's like an avid like hiker or a camper.
I feel like I could do a camper more. I've actually dated many guys who love camping. Have never gone camping with a one though.
Good.
But I know that one day I will be dating another guy who's just like, I love camping, and one day it could turn into something really serious, and so I could do like a day or two of camping, preferably in a camper.
Right. Exactly. So, like a glamping moment. I feel like I could do a little bit, but if it's like we do this every weekend and it means a lot to me that you always come. That wouldn't work.
See, I would rather do that than like I go to the beach every weekend.
But you don't have to do anything at the beach. You just can sit there and be like
That's
lazy.
why I hate it.
But what,
you're laying there doing nothing, being killed by the sun.
You want me to go and like make sure there are no bears and make s'mores and eat on this little pot and like no.
I will not be making sure there are no bears. If I'm doing this for you, sir, you will be making sure there are no bears.
But you can be eaten by a bear as much as your fucking boyfriend can.
Not if I'm in a camper.
So wait, I think you have a different definition of camping.
Of course I do.
I think what I'm talking about is like sleeping in a tent.
Sure. I will do that in my backyard, or maybe in the neighbor's backyard.
Okay, so you have the same hard line because for real, what I'm saying you wouldn't do either.
Also, another thing, and this is going to sound so closed-minded.
Oh God, here we go.
I'm sorry, we're not fighting about where we're going for Christmas. It's going to be my family's house. I'm sorry, that's why I have to date a Jewish guy or something.
Matt Steele, that is something you literally will have to compromise on.
I'm so sorry.
Not like you have to be open to compromising that.
You don't know what Christmas is like for my family.
I understand what Christmas is like for every family, but like what we're doing is like, okay, the actual day we're going to be switching off. We will be seeing both of our families over the Christmas holidays.
What if the families are like living elsewhere?
What do you mean?
Like across the country?
That's what we're doing. We're flying to Atlanta before Christmas. And then this year, since we were on Christmas Day at my place last year, I will be spending Christmas Day in LA or wherever their family gets together. We will fly out on Christmas Eve. That is something you need to be open to compromising about because you can't expect to only date people that don't have families.
I'm just going to have to date a guy who doesn't celebrate Christmas.
Okay.
And that way it's just like, okay, you're coming along.
This feels like something you could compromise on. I really am going to.
And obviously, like when the time comes, I am in a serious relationship. I know I'm going to be fine with compromising, blah, blah, blah,
Doesn't
blah.
sound like you will.
But for the time being, listen, I've been single for a long time. So
Yes.
it's like, I am stuck in my ways.
That's true.
And so where I'm at in my headspace right now, it's just like, oh, I can't imagine loving anyone that much. I'm not going to spend
You sound
Christmas-
like me when we were at that wedding and they were the two, the bride and groom were just like, you're my best friend. You're the only person I ever want to be around. But they didn't say that, but essentially. And then I turned to Matt and was like, oh my God, I've never loved anyone like that. This is pre-Jackson, but yes, I was shocking. The things they were saying to each other, I was like, oh my God.
It was truly funny because it was like you were learning what love was for the first time. It was like you were at your first wedding.
I guess the people I had dated, the idea of them being my friends had never crossed my mind. I was like, oh no, if we were not dating, I wouldn't want to be around you. And I was like, oh, maybe that's the problem.
Yeah. But look at you now.
Look at me now.
Look at you now.
Yes.
And Jackson broke your soda stream once and you haven't broken up with him.
That's the thing. See, the thing is you always have hard lines. Like you would think that would be a deal breaker for me.
Oh my God. If someone broke your soda stream, I would think you would just like never want to speak to them again.
As they say, love conquers all.
Wow, that is so
Isn't
beautiful.
It beautiful.
Put that in a lyric. Just
I
like
know.
you even broke my soda stream and I forgave you.
It really rolls off the tongue.
Passion can lie, so can butterflies.
Okay, next.
Okay.
Next email. Let's
I'm promoting
go.
your music.
I like that.
All right. Next email comes to us from Tevin. Tevin says, "Email my heart from Tevin." So Tevin says, while my parents were married, my mom found out my dad was having a 7-year affair with another woman and had another family. My dad also removed me and my sisters from his will, moved off with his other family, and hasn't spoken a word to us in well over a decade. The last time I saw him was at my grandmother's funeral, where he made it clear he didn't want me or my sisters riding in the limo with the rest of the family, so we had to Uber. He has just been really evil to us for no reason. My grandfather, his dad, who literally takes up for him all the time, recently called me to tell me he was sick and wanted to speak to me and my sisters. I declined and told my grandfather to tell him, go fuck yourself. My sisters have, however, agreed to speak with him. Is it wrong that I just really don't care if he is sick? Should I go with my sisters to this meeting? What would you guys do?
Wait, I'm sorry. The grandfather wants to speak to them, or does the father want to speak to them?
It says my grandfather has recently called me to tell me. Oh, it's called me to tell me that his father was sick. See, okay. I was interpreting this email as his grandfather was sick, and I was just like, oh.
Okay. Well, I have feelings about this.
Okay.
I feel like as a human being, you want to do your best to like have positive, good relationships with your family members, especially these are the people, you know, in a lot of situations, these are the people who raised you or like you grew up with. It is good to do that. That being said, you know what's more important than that? Your own sense of self, your own well-being, your own sanity. This person to me, and again, we're different people, but to me, we have nothing to do with each other. That man, like, if someone treated me, anyone, blood relative or not, treated me the way he treated you, go fuck yourself would also be my response. And I realize that you're feeling away because your sisters have different responses that they are completely entitled to, but cutting off family relationships that are that toxic is the only way to live in my book. Like, there's no way for me to deal with if someone treated me like that. There's no relationship that like is more important on paper than like me being treated like a human being with feelings and emotions and like, yeah, it's definitely go fuck yourself forever. Yeah. Like personally.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that has all happened to you.
It's horrible, and I apologize.
You obviously like do not deserve any of that. You are obviously entitled to do whatever you feel most comfortable doing. Mm-hmm. If it were me, however,
oh Jesus,
Matt Palmer and I live different lives.
This is
my thought process is that if I were to, and you obviously don't have to take my advice, Tevin, but
don't. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
My thought process would be that that if I were to go with my sisters and see my father who was sick, then it could potentially be a very traumatic experience, and I would be like, oh, well, I'm so mad that I did that. But I would also think, but if I didn't do that, then I would spend the rest of my life wondering, did I miss an opportunity for my father to apologize for everything he has done? And will that weigh on me for the rest of my life?
Weigh on you? Weigh on you? Why would you be weighed on? You have literally been shat on by this person for so long. That's going to weigh on you for the rest of your life either way.
Oh, sure, of course, absolutely. I'm not like, you will obviously feel your feelings towards your father for the rest of your life.
Yes.
But there will absolutely be a part of me, if I were to not go, there would absolutely be a part of me that would feel bad for not giving my father the chance to apologize.
He has your phone number. He has your email. If he has something
that is
to
true.
say,
he could have reached out. He could have done it earlier. But maybe he's too sick to be able to do it now. And now, obviously, that is, if there is a problem and he feels like he is near an end of a life or something like that, then he's just thinking about it now.
My question is also, would you have any second thoughts about this if you were an only child? Like, if your sisters were not in the picture, if they were not going to see him, would you even give this a second thought? Because if it's just, oh, well, my sisters are doing it, so maybe I should also like extend the grace, like, that is not enough of a reason.
I would feel even more inclined to do it if I was an only child.
But it doesn't sound like Tevin would. It sounds like the only reason Tevin's thinking about, and like maybe I'm wrong. Tevin, email me if I'm wrong. It sounds like Tevin is feeling this way because his sisters reacted differently. Like, oh, did the way I reacted wrong?
Oh, the way you are reacting is not wrong, Tevin.
No, not in the slightest. Yeah. But you've got to do what you got to do. Matt C would do what he would do, but you've got to be true to you. And I feel like what this person has put you through, you don't owe him anything.
No,
at this point.
You don't owe him this in the slightest.
If you think it would be helpful in any way for you, that's the only reason to consider changing your response from go fuck yourself to something else.
See, I am just like a person who is always very eager for forgiveness in general, like for a lot of things. And so I don't know. Family is also like, wow. I mean, it's important to both of us. I'm not going to say that it's not. But I would absolutely be open to it. And then if it turns out badly, then it turns out badly. But I would just want to do it just because I don't want to later on in my life when I am in a position that like the father is in like near the end of a life or something like that.
I'm sure you won't do to your children.
Of course. Of course. Yeah. Tevin obviously I'm sure learned from this experience, but I would be more open to it than Matt Palmer would.
Matt Steele's very big on forgiveness. I'm very big on boundaries. So you do whatever you want to do. Whatever choice you make is not wrong. And your initial reaction, you're entitled to. If you decide to change it, entitled to it. I would, again, just base it on how you're feeling and what you want. Take your sisters out of it and take your dad out of it. Because, fuck him. This is about you. You know, whatever you want to do, you should be doing.
See, the thing is, we've got this email a couple days ago. I've been thinking the whole time that the grandfather, father of the dad, was saying that he was sick, and so I was like, well, you know, I would absolutely be more open to like seeing the grandfather.
Right. I would be like, I would wanted to know what does always backing him up mean?
Yes.
But this, now that we reread.
Yeah, but now that you say it's the father who is sick, I'm like, oh, this changes a lot in my mind, but I still think I still have the same feelings. They're just harder to wrestle.
I also have the same feelings.
Of course you do.
I also have the same feelings.
Okay. Well, I guess Tevin, take that as you will, darling.
Yes, Tevin, take the wheel.
Yes.
So wait, Matt Steele.
Yes.
What's been giving you moments, darling?
So I have a couple giving me moments,
right.
and both of which are cinema related.
All right.
So I went to the movie theater twice this week. The first time was to see a movie called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
I keep hearing about it.
Which is so fucking ridiculous and stupid and great. And
is it a
so
slasher
fun.
movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It has a lot of blood.
I was going to say.
I don't know if... Just close your eyes.
Okay, all right.
And listen to the dialogue. So it's basically a movie. It is directed by a director named Helena Regine? I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name, but it is essentially about a group of girlfriends who get together at... their one friend, played by Pete Davidson's giant mansion. They're all rich as fuck. They're spoiled and stupid and ridiculous. They are so stupid. It's just glorious and so rich. And they decide to convene together during a hurricane and have a hurricane party all together in this mansion and everything.
Okay.
Someone ends up dying, and so they're essentially trying to figure out who is the killer. And, you know, secrets are exposed, and one by one they each just accuse each other of such different things. They're all accusing each other of being the murderer because it's one of them, and so they're trying to figure it out in the midst of like having their stupid conversations. And it's just so much fun. It is starring Maria Bakalova, who was in the Borat sequel, who was nominated for an Oscar.
Yes.
She is such a fucking good actress. Like her dramatic moments, it was just like, yes, like so good. But there's a performance by Rachel Sennett or Sennott. I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name either. She was in the movie Shiva Baby, which was my giving me moments like probably like a year ago.
You love that movie.
It was great. She gives such a tour de force comedic performance. Her character is, her thing is, she has a podcast.
I don't know anyone like that.
I don't know anyone like it, but I hope our podcast is anything as good as hers. And she is so funny. It's a great movie. Check it out. It's really, really fun. And the entire time you're trying to figure out who the fuck has done this? Like, who did it?
Did you figure it out, or were you surprised?
You definitely know at the end.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that. So the other movie I saw is one of my favorite movies of all time that is now showing in IMAX theaters. It is Steven Spielberg's seminal classic, one of the best movies ever made, E.T. And the fact that I'm seeing one of my favorite movies of all time on a big screen, which I've never experienced before.
Yeah.
You know, because I've always watched it like on the green VHS tape and everything on my TV, but seeing it on the big screen with John Williams' fucking classic score was just overwhelming for me. Like I could not handle it. And the fact that I know shot by shot every moment of this movie because I would watch it so often as a child,
right.
and you're still just discovering such new things. This time, I was a big thing that Steven Spielberg did. Well, the thing is, watching it as an adult is a whole new experience because I haven't watched it in several years, but watching it as, you know, a person in my 30s,
yes,
and just understanding the depth that Steven Spielberg has given these children so much more. And a whole thing was with the movie is you never see an adult's face except for the moms. And just the moment where he chooses to reveal the adults' faces just really struck me this time in theaters. And I just like broke the fuck down I was just like, oh my God, what a brilliant moment to do this. Steven Spielberg just has such an amazing way with making these kids so smart and realistic, but also giving them these adventures that feel so adventurous and exciting while also feeling extremely realistic. Like, it's a movie about an alien coming down from a spaceship and like a kid brings him into his home. And the entire time you're kind of just like, all of this feels right.
Yeah, like I believe every word.
Like nowadays, I feel like to have a fantasy adventure movie with kids, things need to be blowing up and like they're on these motorcycles and like flipping in the air and everything. And like, you know, obviously there are flying bikes in this, course. But like it all feels so real. The machine that E.T. creates is so real. Like I'm watching it and I'm just like, yeah, this seems like this is how the machine should work. Like it's Steven Spielberg just has such a wonderful ability to do that and to make things feel so grand and epic and beautiful. And I was moved. I'm moved. So glad. And you've never seen E.T., right?
I don't think I have. Maybe I think they might have played it like at like late in a camp, and I'd like watch and like fall asleep. And wake up and watch.
Jackson, your boyfriend, has a homework assignment, and it is at some point while E.T. is in theaters, it's to drag your ass to see E.T. in theaters.
How long is it in theaters?
I don't know. Probably, okay. I would venture to say a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Oh, that's not a lot of time.
Okay, well, you know, it's for the 40th anniversary. Okay. It can only be for a limited amount of time.
I'll see what I can do.
Well, Jackson, you see, this is
you don't
Jackson.
Trust me with
this?
No,
I need him to tie you up and drag you to the theater, kicking and screaming.
Okay, well, for me, it was another week of not really consuming much new stuff, but I have been watching Rap Shit on HBO, which is the new Issa Rae show, starring Aida Osman, who was a former Keep It co-host, and it is so good. Her performance is great. I can't recommend it enough. But also, I have been working on a new song and a new video. There's a song, if you saw it on when we used to have a Twitch, I was recording a song called Hurricane. I recorded a new second verse for it with Twitch people. It was very fun. And so this past week, it's coming out on August 26th. So in 12 days from now, it'll be the radio version and also the extended mix.
There's an extended mix?
There's an extended mix.
Oh, we're legit? Oh my God.
5.5 minutes or whatever.
5.5 minutes?
I mean, it's a lot of instrumental, but it's very fun.
Is it going to be like Virgo's Groove?
Kind of. Well, there's more instrumental. It's less of me singing in moments, but whatever. It is just, so this week, and since Jax was out of town, I was like, okay, I got my little green screen. I used that camera right there and shot a few takes of me doing it. I have edited something together that doesn't look awful. It's just like one of those things where it's like, oh, I can do more shit than I thought I could do as far as like this editing and video thing. I don't know. I wouldn't call myself a director in any way.
You're a director.
But if Taylor Swift's a director, bitch, so am I.
Hey, for your consideration, best short film, the Hurricane extended cut music video.
We're just doing the radio edit. Okay. But it's like, is it really a music video? Is it kind of just a lyric video? But whatever. It's just, I'm not even finished with it, but it's just been nice to like remind yourself that like, oh, you don't always have to rely on other people, even if it's not your area of expertise. Trying something new and putting something new together sometimes can turn out, and maybe by the time it's all done, I'll hate it. But right now I'm like looking at the shots and like how it's going so far and being like, you know what? It's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
Matt, you are not just like making your own music video. You are doing special effects.
I mean, not
like this is going to be the next E.T. you flying in the sky.
It's literally just me cutting out the background and putting like you'll see it. It's not like a flying in the sky moment. It's very simple, but it looks simple and clean and like, you know how I like things to look not shitty. Not like I like things looking vaguely professional, and like this feels like that. I'm going to put a link in the description of this video and of the podcast. So if you want to pre-save Hurricane on Spotify, you'll be able to do that. So yeah, the 26th it's coming out. I hope that the video is ready by the time it comes out. It should be. And I hope you like it when it reaches your ears and eyes. And I'm glad that, you know, We're all spreading our wings as content creators, aren't we?
Oh my God. I mean, that's the thing with like making all this stuff. Like we are learning that we can do so much.
I
like
know.
you are doing the special effects. Remember?
Stop saying special effects.
It was their special.
People are going to be
green
very
screen
disappointed.
is involved. This is the next Marvel universe, whatever.
Wrong.
I like, and remember when like Devos was happening and I had to do like the remixing of like certain like pop songs like that we used in the movie because no one else was going to do it. And Matt Palmer's like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, remixing music. And Matt Palmer's like,
but
sorry?
It sounds great. It sounded great.
Thank you.
We can all do more than we think we can do. I love that we're ending on such a like, self-empowered note.
We can do anything.
We can do it all, darling.
Yeah. And you need to do more of those like Twitch, like watch people watching you write and record music because that was so much fun.
It is fun, but it's also like, am I being as productive as I would be if we weren't all here together? Maybe I will. I haven't really started writing the next album in earnest, so maybe I will do that for this next.
All right, well, guys, a hurricane is a coming.
Yes, and I like the song. I think the song sounds good, so hopefully you'll like it. I've heard it many times, and if you were on the stream, you heard it a lot as well. So it's coming out the 26th. You'll get that pre-save link. And is there anything else you need to tell the people?
I don't think so. You're all beautiful.
You're all wonderful. Thank you so much for listening and watching. We'll be back next week with more Two Game Mats, the podcast.
Bye.
Bye.